Today, we're going to count down the presidential margin in each state in the 1988 election. We'll start with the landslides and go to any nail-biters. First, we've got to get a quick refresher, and this was George H.W. Bush winning for the Republicans. He got a pretty good landslide of 426 electoral votes out of 40 states, and that was worth 53.4% nationally. Michael Dukakis took the loss for the Dems. He ended up with 111 electoral votes. He got 10 states in D.C., and that was worth 45.7%. So the margin for Bush nationally was 7.7. Let's see how that translates down into each state. So back on the map, and these are the electoral votes from 1988. And we're going to use shading. The darkest colors are 10% or more. The very lightest would be under 1%. So 4 levels of shading. Let's start the countdown. We've got the widest margin up first, including all the districts. Number 53 out of 53 is Washington, D.C. Dukakis won that by more than 68%. And back in this election, Nebraska no longer broke up their electoral votes. They were using winner take all. So number 52, the widest margin in any state, was in Utah, went toward Bush by 34.1. And given Bush won the vast majority of these states, most of these are going to be for him, especially early on in the countdown. So there's a bit of a gap with the next state. It's New Hampshire, and the margin was 26.2. Just barely under that, we're going to go out west. We'll put in Idaho. Then after that, under 24%, we're back on the East Coast, and it's South Carolina. Then we'll leave the lower 48. We're going to go out to Alaska. After that, the sparsely populated state of Wyoming. That was about 22.5, but just barely under that. We've got a significant state. It's Florida. About 1% less than that. In the Southwest, it's Arizona. Coming in at a 21% margin, it's Nebraska. Almost the same margin. Back west, we've got Nevada. A little bit narrower than that. In the deep south, it's Mississippi. A little under that on the East Coast again, it's Virginia. A little bit south from there, we've got Georgia. The last state over a 20% margin is in the Midwest, it's Indiana. Over 19% now, we've got Alabama. A couple points less, at about 16.5, we've got Oklahoma. A little less than that, it's Tennessee. About the same amount, we've got North Carolina. Now we're under 15%. Number 34 is Arkansas. Under 14%. On the East Coast, it's New Jersey. Slightly more competitive, it's Kansas. Then we've got North Dakota, the far northeast corner. It's Maine's first congressional district. That was just over 12.5%, just like the next state. It was Bush's home state of Texas. Now just under 12.5. We're back on the East Coast. It's Delaware. And we're already down to number 27 in the count. And we've got our very first state for Dukakis. It's also on the East Coast. The margin was about 11.7, and the state was Rhode Island. About 1/10 of a point less than that. We've got another red state. It's Kentucky. Also going for Bush is back in the Northeast. It's Maine at large. In 24th place, it's the Buckeye state. We've got Ohio. Then we've got the second state for Dukakis. It's Iowa at just over 10%. Also just over 10. We've got another one for Bush. It's in the deep south. It's Louisiana. The last spot over 10%. We've got Maine's second congressional district. Now we're into the top 20. We're down under 10%. The first state with a likely margin goes toward Dukakis. That was Hawaii, coming in at 9.5. Jumping down under 8%. We're in the Rust Belt now. For Bush, we've got Michigan. Barely under that, we've got Dukakis' home state of Massachusetts. About the same margin out west, we've got Colorado. Number 16 at 7% is Minnesota for Dukakis. Now we've got more Bush states. At only 6.4% is South Dakota. Under 6 is Montana. Still over 5. Out east, it's Connecticut. Now we're under 5%. Number 12 is New Mexico for Bush. Now we've got 3 Dukakis states in a row. Number 11 is West Virginia. Number 10 is Oregon at 4.1%. Back east, it's New York. Number 8 for Bush is the swing state of Missouri at 3.9. Number 7 for Dukakis is Wisconsin at 3.6. Just under that for Bush, it's way out west. We've got California. That was at 3.5%. Also coming in at 3.5%. Back east, we've got Vermont. That's number 5 in the count. And Bush also won some more blue states. Number 4 is Maryland at 2.9. Number 3 is Pennsylvania at 2.3. Number 2, it's Illinois at 2.1. And number 1, the last state, the one with the narrowest margin in 1988, it went toward Dukakis. It's on the West Coast. It's Washington. And the margin was 1.6%. So that completes the countdown and the map. So a lot of deep red states on here. Plenty of blue ones today we wouldn't even think of being competitive, let alone red. Those might be Maine, Delaware, New Jersey. But you've also got some other blue states that actually were won by Bush. You've got California, Illinois, Michigan, Maryland, Connecticut, and Vermont. Even Hawaii was under 10%. The bright spots for Dukakis are Iowa. Today it's a red state, but back then, double digits blue. Wisconsin definitely did not do the same thing as neighboring Michigan or Pennsylvania, just like Connecticut and Rhode Island. And maybe most unusual would be Virginia and West Virginia. Back then, those states had totally different ideologies. So even though Bush won in a landslide, there were still these 10 blue states he was unable to capture. So it was a third term for the Republicans. Dems would get their revenge 4 years later with Bill Clinton. But this one is almost all Bush and it's almost all red. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this countdown from the widest states to the narrowest? What do you think about Oregon voting different than California? How about Missouri and Illinois having similar margins? Why are South Dakota and North Dakota not the same? How did Bush manage to win Delaware and Maryland? Why did New York not flip red along with Wisconsin? Why was Iowa and Rhode Island Dukakis' best states? Let me know what stands out to you in this map down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.